Yeah, see.
The audio I heard it was during the first 2 or 3.
You can breathe. You can blink. You can cry. Hell, you're all gonna be doing that.
Right then is when it would have been heard.
I mean, I hear some stuff in the background.
Not enough that we could make out anything.
No.
Like I said, they did it that way for a purpose, because they ain't sure who they want to kill.
Alright, so here's what I'm telling you. Look what's in the background after the first hit. Boom. And they look up. No RV. No RV in the background. Right? So the question is, when he comes out of the RV, who would be looking at the correct angle to have no RV behind him?
But even then, it's hard to say. I think they did it that way to,
Yeah.
because they didn't know who they wanted to kill yet.
I think that that's bullshit. I think somebody created some audio and did a good job of that.
Well, that's definitely true.
Did you cancel the tweet? It says it's not available.
Yeah. It's easier for me to keep up with Facebook and Instagram than it is Twitter. And we have a watcher.
It's probably Flash.
That's not 100% true. That could be Ed from FogDog Custom Coils, since I did tag him in the post, and it would be quite enjoyable if he joins us tonight for this podcast, since we will in fact be talking about FogDog Coils, which are fucking awesome. It was a real throat puncher to you, wasn't it?
It was.
You weren't expecting it. I still got baby collabs compared to everybody else, though. That's the bad thing. Still working on my technique. But for whoever's listening, we are about to start the podcast. Rob's going through a couple things. We were playing with some audio. Lost the listener / watcher. Do-do-do.
Ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
What did it? Recorded?
Yep. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dirtyshore Underground. Tonight we cover a couple topics. Some bitch. As you know, we do our weekly Walking Dead episode. As you probably know, if you're somebody that listens, we couldn't go real in-depth Sunday night with everything going on. And now tonight, Rob is back in the studio.
Here I am.
No pillow, no anything
glad you
just
didn't
laying
do-
over
I'm
here.
glad you didn't do the creepy pillow. That would have been super weird.
I don't know. I thought it would have been kind of funny. But I also watch How I Met Your Mother on a daily, so the
Right.
whole... It would have been funny to me, but probably not to listeners, because they probably wouldn't have been able to see your face on a little 8-inch
Also,
tablet.
super weird for the fact that you listen to or you watch HIM every day. HIMYM every day.
Well, that's what I listen to when I'm going to sleep, so...
I gotcha. All right. Yeah. So anyway, excuse me.
Hit him with the licks!
So make sure you're checking out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Tuesday. Bonus episodes every Thursday. Bonus episodes every Monday or Tuesday. You can always go to DirtyShoreUnderground.com for all the latest updates, including finding a link to Amazon. We always encourage people to shop through the Amazon tab at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. It's real easy. You can even bookmark that tab as your link to Amazon. You do all your shopping as per usual, and then Amazon, as a thank you to us, hooks us up a little bit extra, helps us keep the lights on, keep the wavelength or the broadcast coming out through. Make sure you check out at Dirtyshore UG on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We send out all the latest information there, so that you can make sure you keep up to date on everything, including the live stream, which is always available at youtube.com/c/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. So make sure you check that out on YouTube. Scroll down to the bottom to the comment section. You can comment live. It'll be on the right-hand side on your screen. So you can ask questions or make comments as we go along and participate during the podcast.
Yes.
So as a spoiler alert, just like on Sunday nights or Mondays or whatever you're looking at, we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead. So if you haven't seen the season finale of The Walking Dead,
Don't you wish that harm on nobody.
don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
It's okay if Daryl dies, but the series going by completely is a no-no.
So if you haven't seen the season finale of season 6, make sure you check that out before you listen to the podcast, because we're going to be talking about it and I don't want to ruin anything for anyone. So,
I mean, alright, probably only a couple real things we got to get into, because obviously Sunday we just jumped right into the whole thing with Negan
yeah.
and the events leading up to Negan. We didn't jump into really what happened with Carol.
The rest of the whole episode,
Yes.
basically. Yeah, we focused a lot on the Negan season.
And with
so.
the new theory we talked about last night, I think it was, it makes a valid point.
Which one's that?
The one with Enid? Carl's girl?
Enid.
Enid?
Yes. How Enid's going to be trapped in the closet forever now? Or... Oh, you mean that?
with the
That she's
jar
gonna
of
be
pickles.
disgusting. Yeah, no, so, alright, so, as far as how we got where we got at the end of the season, at the end of the episode there, our crew was on the road because Maggie got sick.
Yep.
And we saw that at the end of episode 15, leading into episode 16? Yeah, 8 and 8, right? Yeah. So at the end of episode 15, leading into episode 16, Maggie was getting sick. Well, what we were talking about is, if you flash back forward, the last thing we see Maggie eat is a jar of pickles given to her by Enid. Enid, who's been a bit of an interesting character. So, what was your theory moving forward on that?
Well, I didn't even think about it beforehand, but now it kind of, if it comes down to being that, it makes sense to me.
Okay.
Because in the
Now,
comics,
did you hear that somewhere?
I read it on one of the meme pages for Walking Dead.
Okay.
It was a theory somebody had. Basically, what happens in the comics, Glenn and Maggie said they're going to move the hilltop because it's safer. Even though they have to deal with Negan, it's safer.
And to be closer to the doctor.
Yes, and to be closer to the doctor. And then, obviously, we've seen the doctor killed off in an episode.
You mean? No,
We
they're
seen
closer to the
Alexand-
OBGYN that's at Hilltop.
but we seen Alexandria's only
Right.
quote unquote doctor killed off.
Right.
So they had to make an excuse for Maggie to be on the road to go there, right?
Right.
So it kind of makes sense. The way she was talking, I've watched it 2 times since then. It's like,
Still haven't said what the theory is. Still talking about how it's valid. So what's
yes,
the theory?
and it makes more sense. The 2+ times I've watched it since Sunday night, the way she was talking to Carl makes it seem like she was talking to him in such a way that she's in with them.
In with who?
the Saviors.
Okay, now, so what does she say that makes you think like she's in with the Saviors?
Well, I don't really remember everything offhand. Catch me off guard, son of a bitch. But she was talking to him about something, and Carl's just like, he's getting his bag ready to go, and she's like,
Well,
you're
so
hoping to run into him, aren't you?
as I remember, she's talking to him about how he wants to kill Saviors, and how he shouldn't want to kill them, and it's wrong to want to kill them, even though they've given our crew every reason to want to kill them. So it begs the question, why is Enid so fired up about the Saviors? Well, maybe that's because she is in league with the Saviors, and that would make sense. But so looking kind of at the difference between the comic and the show, we need a reason for Maggie to go on the road.
Yes.
And
real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
thank you, Edward, for joining us on this podcast, because I know he's watching. The fucking Coils are amazing.
We're gonna get to that
Yes,
review
we
of the
are.
Coils, I promise when we get there. So, we need a reason for them to get on the road, right? And then at the point at which we're there now, Glenn was already gone. Glenn was on the road already.
And in the comics, they were both together.
Right. So now we need to get Maggie out because we need to get them together somewhere somehow.
Because if Glenn is the one to die, she has to see it.
Right.
In order for the change that takes place in the comics to take place in the TV show.
So, the theory being that Enid, and I think if you had listened to our reviews of episodes 10 and 11, we had some suspicion that Enid was actually working with the wolves, because she always leaves, but she always came back as well. And
now it kind of makes sense for her to be placement to scope shit out for the Saviors.
And she never had the W, so the wolves don't really make sense. And she always seemed pretty smart, which doesn't make sense for the wolves either. But the Saviors do seem to know a lot about what's going on at Alexandria.
Yes, they do.
And some of the stuff is outside, like when they mentioned Carol's car is the same car that has the stakes in it or whatever. That could be seen from outside, but they also seem to know a little bit about what's going on inside.
Yes.
So it makes sense if they had a spy inside. So Enid gives Maggie these pickles. Next thing we know, Maggie's sick.
Yep.
And now
we
we
thought
need to
it
go
was
on
a
the
miscarriage.
Right.
Which now with the new theory in place, that could change everything.
Right. It could just be that she's sick,
Mm-hmm.
that food poisoning or any other number of things, and she's they're just on the road to Hilltop. That gets them out of Alexandria. It gets them out of the safe place, and they can't get to Hilltop. So it's interesting, and also makes you wonder why she was pushing so hard to come along. Maybe she was supposed to signal somebody. Maybe she was supposed to. Her instructions were to be there when it happened.
In case they found a way around all the fucking roadblocks.
Or just to be there to go home. Maybe like. After we get this all done, we're going to capture you take you back, and you can come home with us. So, I mean, it's an interesting theory, and one that didn't really strike me. I think I felt like there was something real going on with her and Carl, but she could just be really good. I mean, going back to the first part of the season, back to episode 6, just survive somehow. And if that's not a Negan saying, I don't know what is. Just... his whole thing is about setting up this new world order and staying alive.
And to him, he's the good guy.
And so that was another interesting thing. Did we talk about that on the podcast, or where did I talk about? No, I talked about that on opening day this week. The interesting thing to keep in mind is that if any of these groups you had followed along instead of our crew, you would hate our people and love your people. The governor. As much as we hate the governor, think about it from their perspective. They have this nice town, everything's running really well. Then this group of outsiders shows up, and everything goes to hell. And their town gets destroyed.
Yep.
And maybe their leader's a little crazy, but newsflash, guys, our leader, also a little crazy. He was talking on a phone to his dead wife.
A lot of it crazy.
Yeah. So, and the same thing and I think it's important to keep that in mind when we're talking about Negan. Like, Negan seems really crazy, and you wonder, like, how could they possibly want to stay involved with him? But...
although, from what Chris Hardwick said, the tweets they were getting in during the Talking Dead and shit, saying about how hot Negan was, how's he a bad guy? He can't be the bad guy. Rick's group is the bad people.
Well, I mean,
so.
that's what it comes down to. It's all a matter of perspective. And I mean, I don't think they were going for a political statement, but that it's kind of a political statement that who's right and who's wrong is often a matter of perspective. Because when it comes down to it, if The Walking Dead had followed Negan's crew all along, we would be saying, kill those fuckers. But no, don't kill one of them. Bust all of them in the head. I know the rule is kill one, save the rest. Kill all of them. They blew up our people. They killed our people at the radar station. These are bad people. We need to take care of them.
Yes.
But because we're on the other side, we're saying, like, oh my god, Negan's this horrible guy, and, whatever. But keep in mind, as he points out, our crew has killed probably 24 of the saviors.
Probably a little more than that, because...
Depending on how many were at the radar station.
I think there was 24 in the radar station, and you gotta think about,
And by the way, the radar station was just cold-blooded murder. I don't care how you cut it.
That was...
Survivor or not, you snuck it in the middle of the night, you're knifing people in the head while they sleep. That's just fucking murder. So, who is the bad guy in that situation? Yeah, Negan bashes somebody's head in, and we'll get to that. But who's the bad guy?
In that perspective, it's Rick's group.
It's hard to say it's not them. Now,
but we all whatever to keep my group alive.
And that's the hard thing, because Negan is saying the same thing to his people. Whatever it takes. This is how we stay alive. This is how we do it.
And
so,
Carol's still alive.
What I was going to say, the other stuff we saw from the town is that we left Father Gabriel in charge. Not sure that was the best decision.
Sadly, I'm okay with that at this point.
But we saw him be all badass, dirty Harry with the guy.
He's
saying lines.
Proving himself enough to me feel okay with him being in command while the rest of the crew is out.
So who's left there, though? There's a bunch of Alexandrians who, by the way, I never remember any of their names or any of their faces. Dreadlocks is the only one I ever really remembered. He's out with Prego, and they're not coming back. They didn't come back at the end of the season.
Sometime.
So the rest of them are people who I feel like I see occasionally, but I don't really know. So who's left other than Father Gabriel and Enid, who's locked in the closet?
Father Gabriel at this point is probably the only one that would bust a cap in somebody.
And you got to think that if the Saviors have the numbers to pull the ship that they're pulling now, maybe something's going on at Alexandria too. Now's the time to go.
Yep.
You've got everybody divided up. Most of them are here in the middle of the woods. I'd think that I would start an attack.
But clearly, Negan doesn't operate that way, so...
Maybe, or maybe we just haven't seen it.
He just wants half of your shit.
Give me half your shit, we're killing one of your people, and then everybody can be happy ever after. So the other part of that is Carol. So we've got some people left at Alexandria. Enid's there locked in the closet, hopefully not with R. Kelly. I don't want Enid to get peed on. She's the right age group, though, right? I mean, she's right there in the wheelhouse, 15 or so. So
she's probably actually like 18.
Well, in real life,
when,
yeah.
What the fuck is her name? Maggie's sister.
Beth, yeah, who's actually
playing like a
17-year-old,
and she was actually 28.
Actually, before I make a comment about Enid,
you're gonna look it up.
I'm going to look and make sure that she is in fact. Caitlin Nacon is her name, Nacon. She was born June 11th of 99, which makes her 17.
You got a couple months.
Now, she's almost 17. She's actually 16.
Okay, you got a year and a couple months.
I won't make the comments that I was going to make about her. Instead, what I'll say is she's the right age for R. Kelly to have peed on. So, God, let's hope she's not trapped in the closet with R. Kelly. But, so we know she's there. We know Father Gabriel's there. They've left an assortment of people. I don't think any of our main cast is left at Alexandria.
Nope, they're all out.
So, it's all the people who we see, like, milling about in the background who are the ones who are, like, running the store, like the on repeat store scene that we saw, was it 2 episodes ago now, where they just repeated the same scene in the morning over and over again.
And fucked up everybody's mentality for the first 5 minutes of the episode. Is it glitching? What the fuck?
So we have them, and then we have Carol, who's out running away, and still running away.
Running away and still a badass at the same time for somebody who doesn't want to kill anybody. Pretty much laid waste to an entire crew.
I can't say that she doesn't want to kill anybody. I just think maybe she's bad at killing everybody. Because, maybe she was such a good shot that she just didn't kill anybody. Edward chimes in, when do we talk about Game of Thrones? If I had HBO, well, actually, I guess, do you have HBO?
I do.
You're not a fan of Game of Thrones?
I haven't watched it yet.
Any of it?
No.
Okay, so Edward, what you need to do is get Kenny to start watching Game of Thrones. I'm up to everywhere, right up and until, please don't spoil it for me, right up until Jon Snow gets stabbed. I think that's they're already running the new season. I haven't seen any of the new season yet, but...
And that was that popped up in one of the comments on one of the meme pages for Walking Dead. It was like, so we don't know who was killed by Negan. We don't know if Jon Snow is dead or alive.
Yeah.
And then somebody from another series that I had never seen. So
it's all the cliffhangers. So
yes.
Yeah, I know exactly right. And you need to.
Man, I'm sorry, man.
You got to get him on watching.
I love your Coils, though.
How about this though? There is a naked chick 2 minutes into the first episode of Game of Thrones.
In that case, Orange is the New Black.
No, but this is a hot.
I watched what's her face from that '70s show.
Oh yeah.
And then I never watched.
Oh, it starts in a week. Good. So we can I can start watching Game of Thrones along with it. But you should watch Game of Thrones. The first 2 minutes has the chick from oh god, I can't remember. She's really hot and she's got white blonde hair. Super hot. She's naked in the first scene. Just like Magic Mike, by the way. I've never seen Magic Mike, but Corey saw Magic Mike and he told me I should, just because Olivia Munn's naked in the first 2 minutes. And then after that, you're like, well, I'm okay with this movie.
Wasn't she part of G4?
Olivia Munn was on G4 with Chris Hardwick, yeah.
And now she's in the new Avengers movies.
Now she's in the new Avengers movie. So,
circle.
Wow, way off topic. So we've Carol though has not killed anyone. She's on the run. We see that she's stabbed.
She was shot.
Was it shot?
She was shot. She wasn't stabbed.
So she's bleeding profusely. She's complaining about a body that's kicking around upstairs, which we see later. Morgan's trying to help her, but she's being a bitch, as per Carol usual, apparently now.
Who's there? Keep talking.
Okay. So we see Carol kind of being a bit of a bitch, and that is what it is. But what we really need to focus on, I think, is that her and Morgan are kind of on the run together. It's a weird chase, but togetherness. And Morgan is still trying to take care of her. The walker that's upstairs kicking around in the little antenna, he cuts him down. Well, he kills him and cuts him down. He's clearing out the library for her. And I think it's a good callback, too, to the librarians. Obviously, we know that Negan controls this area because he talks about the librarians. The guy with the X was a librarian. So we know that that's obviously going to be a problem in the future with Carol batted down there. But her and Morgan are in this weird, super weird situation. I don't really know what's going on with them. But the bigger part of that, I think, is the introduction of these other characters, which are like knights. So they have the armor on, and they have the spears, and they ride horses. And Morgan's got this like weird little interaction with them, where he's like, "I found your horse." I don't get any of that stuff. But did you notice that Morgan basically relived Rick's first episode of The Walking Dead?
With the horse?
Yes. He's riding a horse. He meets people. He saves people.
Yes.
So,
and FogDog. I'm just going to keep saying that.
So here's what I think. I think that Rick is actually the one who was killed, and that Morgan is going to become the center of the show now.
I think if Rick is killed, even though you ain't Team Daryl, Daryl becomes the center.
Well, and I'm Team Daryl in so much as I think Daryl's going to get killed, but we'll see. Anyway, so Carol leads Morgan to these strangers in armor. Any idea who these people are?
The Kingdom.
And I've heard people mention that. And I suppose this is something from the comics, right?
You don't want me to say nothing else.
Okay, so don't say anything else because I don't want to get ruined for the future. But
and I don't want to get punched in the face tonight. So.
I feel like this is moving in a direction, and it was inevitable because you can only run from zombies so long. The zombies are getting decrepit. We saw Carol fighting the one where she grabbed her by the hair, and the hair just ripped off. Like, at some point, these old, broken down zombies are not going to be what they were at one time.
I'll say this. Season 6 has presented us with too many groups at one time.
Daredevil and The Walking Dead.
Daredevil in Season 2, you're juggling Daredevil, you're juggling Punisher, Season 1. And Elektra,
the
which
foot
might be Season 1.
Wait, or is it the hand? The hand.
It's the hand, because the foot is Ninja Turtle.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So the foot, or the hand, and it mixed in with there is,
which, by the way, fuck Michael Bay, OG Ninja Turtles all day.
Anyway, so we also see the Kingpin in there. I mean, it's got a lot going on.
Oh, and you said Kingpin wouldn't have anything to do with Season 2.
And he didn't.
He did.
Not really. He showed up.
It was an episode and a half, but he was still in it.
Anyway.
You swore he would not show up.
I'm sure that he wouldn't have anything to do with it. So, not important. Not important. Back to the point. The point is that this season of Walking Dead also had too many characters in it. Wolves. Apparently the Kingdom is showing up here at the end.
But it was the Kingdom was only for a split second.
No, remember they were shooting at them the last 2 episodes. Morgan stole the dude's horse from 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but we didn't actually see them until the finale.
Okay.
And now we know where the spears were coming from that came from Hilltop.
They're going to the Kingdom.
Right.
And so we saw the wolves, and the wolves apparently are gone now. I don't know what happened with that.
I'm pretty sure they were all killed off in that first massacre.
I think that they're going to make a reappearance. I think that they're going to be the agents of chaos. That, just when nobody wants to see them, they're going to pop up again.
They're going to try to fuck up both groups?
Yeah, just fuck up everybody. And then so we also have the Saviors who have made an appearance. So, but a lot going on, and really we couldn't spread that out a little bit. The comics aren't that far ahead of where we are now.
No, because this season jumped ahead a good bit.
We really could have just stretched it out.
You can look up there and you can see I haven't been too far into that book.
Yeah.
That's where this season stopped.
Okay, but...
Basically.
So we could have stretched it out a little bit.
Yes, we could have.
Stretched it out a little bit. And then maybe not have had all of this going on at the same time. But, so, what are your thoughts about Carol? The last we saw, she disappeared. Because Morgan went looking for her, she was gone.
Well, obviously, anybody that voted on her to die in Season 6, I voted her as a secondary, which is obviously not true because, one, she wasn't in the lineup.
Well, she could bleed out, though.
She could. But Morgan saved her ass at the last moments possible.
Yeah.
Twice.
Morgan, I was leaning towards going to die, but now it looks like he is going to be the ambassador to the Kingdom. And we'll see what happens with them and our crew, what's left of our crew. So, that inevitably leads us back to the circle. And the interesting theory, which we were kicking around if anybody was watching before we got started, which is some audio. Somebody said they slowed down the audio and they figured out who it was that was killed. So, double spoiler alert right now. If you haven't seen it, you really don't want it to be ruined, stop right here. But, so the slowed audio, theoretically, according to what it says that you can hear Glenn saying, Maggie, Mag, bam to the second hit, and then you hear Maggie and Carl and Abraham all saying, Glenn, 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 Glenn. Here's what I'm going to say about that. You remember those ghost hunting shows that used to be super popular?
Like Ghost Adventures?
Those Ghost Adventures.
Which Karina watches all the time because she has an attraction to the host.
Big guy with the muscle? Zach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. If you were to hear any of those recordings on their own, you wouldn't hear anything.
No.
But when they put the little thing at the bottom, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I definitely hear that. I think this is the same way. They've enhanced the audio until you hear something. Then they make a suggestion about what it is that you're hearing, and all of a sudden you're hearing that.
Now see, with that in mind, Prozac, who is an artist on Tech Nine's label, he's also done ghost hunting, and he does the Ouija board and ghost hunts and all that bullshit. He has like 6 different movies out that's just focused on the same shit that Ghost Adventures does, but they don't put subtitles up there for you to see.
Just play it.
They play it.
Yeah.
They let you hear it a few times before they put the subtitles up there,
Right.
so you can make that up in your own mind if you're hearing what they're hearing.
Right. And I mean, so, but by the same token, I think that this guy has pulled the biggest ruse ever. Now, it might be a correct guess because Glenn's on the chopping block, clearly, but I think that he has convinced everybody that he knows when he doesn't really know, and this enhanced audio is just bullshit.
And at the moment, not even the characters know, unless
Right.
they were all bullshitting on Talking Dead.
But here's
Which
the thing.
they could be.
They could be, but even every interview they've done has just been like, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. So that means that either that audio
But
is not even after.
They also did sign a non-disclosure, so.
Yeah, but they're allowed to talk about whatever they're allowed to talk about. The other thing I'm going to say is you could pull Abraham saying Glenn from another part of the show. You could pull Maggie saying Glenn and just toss it in there and post until we're done.
Somebody said Abraham's not allowed to die because somebody says shit like fuck nuts or
Well, yeah, I would really be
something like
upset.
that. But you
Well,
can't get rid of
bitch
somebody.
dick.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, bitch dick.
It was bitch nuts.
Bitch nuts.
That's
yeah.
what it was.
So we'll have to wait to see.
Or Mother Dick.
Mother Day. I looking through. I watched that last scene again, and you're trying to pick up clues. But I really think that the producers went for less continuity and more just we want to hide who it is, because the RV is missing at the end of that scene. But that doesn't mean that it's somebody who couldn't see the RV. It could just be that they blacked out everything behind him, so everybody's left guessing.
That way, because if they weren't sure who they wanted to kill yet,
You can change it. And so it might be time to just say, who would you want to see killed, who would you not want to see killed, and let AMC know so they can make up their minds before they start shooting in July for the next season.
but Robert Kirkman also wants to make a point that nobody's
And nobody's
safe.
safe.
So that's why I'm saying it's going to be somebody from season 1, which leaves us Glenn or Daryl.
I was going to say, and we also know about Negan that he doesn't kill women, which is why the women are off the...
That's one thing I'm sad about. In the comics, when he was doing his rounds with right before he did the Eeny Miny Mo, he was like, can't kill you, you're black, that would be racist. That was Michonne, and then he went to the black guy with dreads,
Yeah.
which is
He's
replaced
gone
with
now. Yeah.
replaced with Sasha in this lineup.
Right,
Said
yeah.
same fucking thing. Also said it to Glenn, and then in the comics he ended up bashing Glenn because Glenn's the one that jumped out of the line.
To defend Maggie.
Yes.
Now, my other part of that, and I don't know if that came across in the last show, was if I'm Negan, say, I like that guy, because I can control that guy, I use her. I can control Rick by using his kid. I look for those things that I know that I can control people with. If I take her with me, he will do whatever I say to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy you want, because that's the guy, again, what Carol says. When you have hope, and when you love someone, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get back to them. But, who knows? Who knows what direction they're going to go. So,
They have a very creepy setup anyway with that whole whistle shit.
oh my god. And here's the other thing.
And even Flash said that. She was like, because I'm pretty sure I was texting you and she was texting both of us. She
Yeah.
was like, that whistle was just fucking creepy.
The thing I don't get is, if you're Negan and you have all... What's the show for? What do you put on this big show for?
Because it was Negan's first appearance.
Well, I understand why the show, The Walking Dead, did. That doesn't make sense.
Him just coming out of the RV and in that fucking 9.5 minute speech before he bashed somebody in the head
Not me.
9 to 10 times.
There is no need for all of the fanfare. There's no need for all that stuff. It's all bullshit.
But see, now you're just thinking reality and
yeah, no, in the real
show.
world. I mean, in the show, I get why they did it in the show. It's his first appearance and all that. But in reality, like, there's no need for all of that. For all the theatrics.
He did a really good job.
Oh, and I keep calling him by the name. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, not Harry Dean Stanton. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to make a fantastic Negan. I hope he's around for a couple seasons, because I really dig him. So.
And they went out of their way to custom make the jacket that he was wearing
Yeah.
from the actual comic. So it was down to a T. So there's, again, pulling something directly from the comic and making it match up.
Well, the other thing I love is that the DVD is apparently going to have different versions of everything Negan, where it is true to the comic. Where he apparently goes around and says, I can't kill you because you're black, and that'd be racist.
I would love that.
Lots of F-bombs and lots of... Because for those of you who haven't read the comic, Negan is pretty graphic, and he uses racial slurs. Oh, I don't want to say racial slurs, but he points out what everybody's thinking. He's probably on the spectrum of autism somewhere, because he just seems like he says whatever's on his mind. Just says it.
Like me?
Huh?
Like me?
Wow. So he just says what's on his mind, and he puts it out there, but he curses a lot too, and obviously they have to tone that down for AMC. It's not HBO, it's not Game of Thrones, so they have to tone it down some, but
So,
the DVD
Hot
will probably
FM
have-
Phoenix, you still want us?
What's that?
Hot FM Phoenix, was it?
Oh,
no?
yeah, you gotta give me the thing so I can send them,
I sent you the picture.
I don't know
That's
where,
like the best I know of it.
where did they contact on Facebook?
It was, they set it on YouTube.
Alright, so, well, you can show me after this. So anyway, not important. But if you're looking to get in contact with us, make sure you go to DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes available every Thursday. Bonus episodes every Monday or Tuesday. Shoot, I was going to get into something else. Or if you want to come see Kenny, you can every weekend, because on Saturdays and Sundays, usually, he's working down at Oasis Vapor.
Yes.
Oasis Vapor, right here in Denton. It's on North 6th Street, in the big red building right off the highway. You can't miss it. You're going to take the exit for Greensboro and Denton, off of Route 404. You'll see a Burger King and a McDonald's. There's a big red building right in the middle, and Oasis Vapor is right in the middle of that. So obviously you see all the way, if you're watching the live stream on youtube.com/c/dirtyshoreuG-OTA, you see that we will vape all the way through the show. Obviously, whether you're starting out, whether you're trying to quit smoking like me, whether you are getting into the lifestyle a little more like Kenny, or whether you are...
I don't know about quitting smoking no more.
What's that?
Because I think you might be a little past that.
Well, no, because I'm still working my way down on the nicotine.
You're almost
Don't
ready.
step on my reeds.
So
whether you're...
Buy Rob's books.
Whether you're trying to quit smoking, or whether you're getting into the lifestyle like Kenny, or whether you're even up to the level of competition, because Oasis Vapor is one of 25 places in the U.S. that sells which mech?
The Rogue.
Rogue mech mod. So you can only get that 25 places in the U.S. One of those places is Oasis Vapor in Denton. Oasis has always been a big fan of the show, big supporters of the show, so we appreciate them looking out for us, and obviously we want to look out for them. So when you go in, if you go in during the week, say hi to Nate. Let him know you heard about it on the show here. If you come in on the weekend, you can say hi to Kenny. Obviously, friends of the show always hang out while Kenny's in there over the weekend, so you can say hi to them too. Let everybody know you heard about it right here on Dirty Shore Underground. So, transition from that to something else, which is, thanks to FogDog, you have been taken care of on Coils.
FogDog Coils. Edward Figs. I got them in the mail today. Just running it on a clone RDA, and you tried it.
I did.
It was like a punch to the face real quick, wasn't
It's
it?
a little bit much for me, but
You'll get there.
sure.
But fucking amazing. I can't wait to get the Goon RDA here tomorrow and put the other set of coils in those
Right.
and give it a try. Everything's all gold plated, copper.
So I was gonna say, so for those who don't, I'm stealing some of your juice there, by the way. For those who don't really understand, what is a coil? What difference does a coil really make when it comes to the RDA that you have?
Well, when it comes down to competition, it's all about the coil.
Okay.
And I can tell you this. Last weekend, 302 vapes out of Milford, I want to say, had a vape comp.
Yeah.
And probably at least half of those people got orders from FogDog Custom Coils for the vape comp.
Because the coils are just that good.
They are that good.
So, and I mean, is this something that you wouldn't really get into until you're getting on competition level?
I would recommend it to anybody.
And that's just from having it for a few hours right now.
Having it for a few hours right now, yes.
So what's the difference? What difference does it make? What's special about these FogDog coils?
Well, one, I don't have to make it myself.
So there's that. There's the frustration of having to do the coils yourself, right?
Because the more intriguing ones, the bigger builds, that it's more than your standard 5 or 6 rack. Take a little bit more work. Take an hour or two.
Right.
A lot of us don't have that time all the time. So, they hit hard. you know, just
As I fully know that. Fully know that. Yeah.
no, I mean, you don't fully know that. Edward's laughing right now.
I am fully aware.
But
yeah.
Me trying to explain it, it's just, I don't know. It's a real great build, even on the clone. But that's why I'm running it on a box mod,
Right.
rather than my mech. And come Sunday, everybody will see me pull out my mech mod with the goon.
The competition? Are you doing competition on Sunday?
I'm not doing a competition this weekend.
So wait, so why will everybody see on Sunday? Oh, Sunday when we do the podcast.
Yes, because we got Fear the Walking Dead this weekend.
That's right. So yeah, so make sure you check back in next week. Live streaming on Sunday. The podcast will go up on Monday. We're continuing our bonus episodes for Fear the Walking Dead, which starts up this week. Also, so I don't want to get too far off topic here, which is we'll make sure next week to have check-in, and you can give us a full review of the FogDog coils from after a week of using them on your two different mech mods, and we'll see how they come. Obviously, I think the biggest compliment that you can give is just that right out of the box, you're digging it.
I'm digging it. There is only one other set of coils I could say that perform this good.
And where's that?
Harry. He's the only other person that can do coils up that are that good.
Well, and here's what I'll tell you about that. Harry, when he's making coils for you, is doing it because he's a friend.
Yep.
He is wrapping a coil for you, and he's taking the time and effort that it takes to do a favor for a friend. So if you are getting that same kind of quality out of a business, I think that is also the highest compliment that you can get from somebody.
Yes.
Because they are putting that friend-level time and attention into their work, and they're putting that out to everybody. So I'm going to make sure that we check down in the show notes. You can go down to the show notes here, and you can find a link to FogDog on Facebook. Oh, sorry, yeah, Edward's been commenting. We've been ignoring it there. So Edward says the benefit of the coils are for those who want flavor, clout, and coils. Coils that last. A single coil won't perform.
They won't.
They won't. And a big thank you to you, Edward. Thank you for sending the coils out to Kenny. I'm sure that he will be thoroughly enjoying them this week.
And my bet is on Edward this weekend at the Blackwater Bait Comp in Easton.
So you think that no matter who wins, they're going to be running FogDog coils?
No, I think Edward's participating.
Oh, he's competing.
He's competing. My bet is on him to win.
Well, here's the problem that you get
I know what he's running this weekend.
Right. So you talked about that. You know what he's doing.
Yes.
The problem is he produces such a good product that he wants to share it with everybody. But you lose a competitive advantage because you'd love to just go in running your own thing and know that you're going to kill it. But you also want to make sure that you spread the word. So obviously Kenny is a big fan. We'll be looking for a little more next week. We'll get into a little more detail about it and just what your week was like with it.
It's local brick and mortar, so.
And we always love supporting local businesses, especially the local vape shops. Still hoping that Oasis will maybe have a little something going on with FogDog even, and maybe have something going on there. So looking for that in the future. But again, go to the show notes. You can find more information about FogDog and how to find them on their website, on Facebook, all around. So.
Pictures of some of the coils, maybe.
There you go. Oh, and make sure you go to follow at Dirtyshore UG on Instagram and on Twitter. And I'm sure that Kenny will update with pictures, with videos, with all sorts of stuff as the week progresses, so you can see about his experimentation with those coils. So
I'm just waiting for that goon to come in tomorrow.
There we go.
It'll look real pretty sitting on my road.
Speaking about things that look real pretty, I think that I am really happy to see Ashton Kutcher on my TV again. Maybe to a lesser extent, Sam Elliott. Maybe to a lesser extent, Hyde. I can't even remember his real name right now. But
Danny Masterson.
Yeah, Danny Masterson. But definitely good to see Ashton Kutcher on my TV again, even if it's just a half-hour comedy. So of course we were talking about a couple of episodes ago. We talked about the ranch. Maybe it was this last week.
It was last week. We talked about it a little bit.
Shit is flying by. So we talked about the promo for the ranch and how you're kind of getting worked up about it. Did you get a chance to check out some episodes this week?
I've watched what I'm calling the first half of the season, because it says part 1.
Part 1.
Which is 10 episodes. So with it only being half-hour long episodes, I'm assuming there's probably going to be another half of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe not another 10 episodes, but like another 5 at least.
Yeah.
It's been great. We've had friends that were up here while watching it, and they were like, is this like the 70s show in the future? I was like, not necessarily. I was like, they still play the same type of characters. Danny Masterson's character is still the smart-ass type of character.
Right.
And Ashton Kutcher is still like the dumbass type of character.
But so basically, what it is it's the same concept, but moving forward a little bit. Flash. I think talking about the ranch. I assume. I hate the product placement and the laugh track. There was some mentions of certain products, which I imagine are product placements, and there was a laugh track. But here's what I'll say.
Especially with the alcohol mentions.
Well, but so it was produced. It was produced by the same guys who did 2.5 Men. You'll notice that they actually do blackout cuts where there would normally be commercials in a half-hour comedy. It runs 28 minutes. So, and do I know? Flash asked, do I know how the creators of those Netflix shows get paid? Well, it all depends. Some of the shows that are coming out now were done on what's called spec, which means that everybody makes the minimum that their guild or their collective bargaining agreement lets them get paid, and for the most part, they supplement that income by doing product placement. So that's how they can make money from that. But Netflix is making a big investment in their television programming. They want to have a new show come out every single week in 2017. That's obviously going to be a big money investment, and a lot of those are going to be shows like this, where you have two guys doing a version of a show that they used to do that can be really hit or miss. And I think that by doing it on spec, you get it done, you get it out there, you get people to watch it, and if it comes to a second season, they get a little more money for it, and think maybe they change things around a little bit, maybe less product placement. But this is just the way the world works now. Listen, if Pepsi or Miller Lite or somebody wants to sponsor the podcast, we'll put a banner right here that says Miller Lite. I'll wear a damn Miller Lite t-shirt. I don't care. Sorry. Flash asked, that's why I was wondering, because of the lack of commercials. Oh, because Netflix doesn't allow for commercials. My guess is that those guys did the first season of this show on spec themselves. They probably paid their people to do at least the first 5. I mean, I'm only up to episode 5. And up to episode 5, they still have the blackouts. So it may be that they paid for that show themselves, and then they tried to sell the show to different places. So they they edited it up, and they had it ready to go, and if it went on ABC, then commercials would go in there, or if it went on Netflix, then Netflix. But it says it's a Netflix original, so it could just be that the producers want it to feel like a half-hour comedy. So they put those blackouts in, because listen, the blackouts are the same thing as the laugh track. The laugh track shows you where to laugh because maybe it's not so funny. The blackouts show you where there's going to be a shift in story. Where are we going back to the A storyline? Where are we going to the B storyline? Where are we having a big turn of events? Those all happen around those blackouts. They happen around the laugh track. So, I mean, it's all part and parcel of creating the same feeling. So, Flash says it had a similar feel as Fuller House, going back home in nostalgia. I agree with that 100%. Because did you get the same feeling from it that you got from that 70s show? Yes? Sorry, Kenny's eating a hot dog. He likes sticking long things in his mouth that are creamy like that. But
there's nothing creamy about that.
Sorry, slimy and
nothing
disgusting.
slimy about that.
Sure. Okay. Grilled dog from here. I mean, here's another great sponsor. Burger King wants to sponsor us. I would certainly talk about their beep beep, but instead, because they don't pay us, I'm not going to say what this is called. But I will whore myself out for anything. It doesn't really matter. And I said Burger King, I suppose, but that's just, you are eating it, so I suppose we should.
You know what would be a great sponsorship?
What's that?
Any alcohol that's not beer.
How about no? Because then that would just give you an excuse to drink for the whole show. So it did give me a feeling of nostalgia. Obviously, it's a little bit different show. These guys are brothers, and I did enjoy, though, that they took pictures of the guys from when they were on that 70s show, but they were doing, like, team building exercises. There's a picture of them doing whitewater rafting. And if you look really carefully, you can actually see Wilmer Valderrama and the other kid, Topher Grace. They're in that picture. Mm-hmm. They're blurred out, but they're the ones sitting in the front of the whitewater rafting boat, and Danny Masterson and Ashton Kutcher are sitting in the back. Yeah. So they're playing it like that was their brotherly picture, but that's a picture from them on that 70s show doing like a team building exercise. Like it's awesome. But I'm also a big fan of Sam Elliott. I think that they've keyed into something nostalgic even more than just us loving that 70s show. It's also that, like, we go out in the world and then we come back home to where, like, we grew up and where we went to high school and, like, what it's like to be back in that environment. And, you know, I think that it gives you that whole sense of home, and people are looking for that so much. So
I'm fully expecting more characters from that 70s show to show up in one form or another, just like we did with Fuller House, or you know, like if you want to go that route, the Tim Allen show.
The
Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing, yeah. Because everybody from Home Improvement showed up.
Yes.
And obviously we know that Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher now, so it's easy enough to get her on the show.
I'm still trying to figure out why he left Demi Moore or something.
For Mila? Are you kidding me? Trade that in any number, any day of the week. Any day of the week, Mila Kunis over Demi Moore. Thank you.
Pretty sure Demi is more freaky.
Okay. I don't even have a response to that. But even more than that, though. So we know that Mila can come on. Unfortunately, like, Laurie's got, or not Laurie, what is her real name? I can't remember her. Donna, whatever her real name is on Orange is the New Black. Topher's not really doing anything. I guess he could come out and do it.
Last thing he did was fucking Spider-Man 3, which is why he wasn't in the last season of that 70s show. And
Wilmer Valderrama's not doing anything. Thank you, Flash. I agree 100%.
No, I am not high.
Old, crumbled up Demi Moore versus Mila Kunis. Are you kidding me? Really?
Have you never seen Striptease?
I have. You know when that movie was shot?
Yes, I do.
In the 90s. When Mila Kunis wasn't even born yet. Take
My
that.
point exactly.
Take that. Good. No.
I'm not down with the just turned 18 crowd.
Isn't your girl younger than you?
But she didn't just
Isn't
turn
she
18.
way younger than you? Mila Kunis is in her late 20s, early 30s. She didn't just turn 18.
But still, in this world,
She's also not 50. That's the difference.
But for fucking 50s, Demi Moore still looks good.
Ashton Kutcher is closer to Demi Moore's oldest kid's age than he is to Demi Moore's age. That is ridiculous. No thank you. It's gross. It's gross is what it is. Anyway, not important. So, the ranch though. I enjoyed Sam Elliott as the grumbly cowboy dad as well. Fit really well. Again, I think you pointed this out. He's basically Red Foreman as a cowboy. Instead of working in a plant, he's a cowboy. So.
I keep thinking Ghost Rider, but.
Oh, that's right. He was in Ghost Rider too. Yeah, he was in Ghost Rider too. And the mom I've never seen before. I mean, I feel like I've seen her in something, but I don't really recognize her. The girl from The Girl Next Door plays the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend who's dating the manager of the Marriott. Do you remember the movie The Girl Next Door? Mm-hmm. Like, hi, I'm all wet. Can I come inside? That's the girlfriend.
I need to go watch that again then.
I know, right? Yeah. That's the ex-girlfriend.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, Flash. Again, so Flash says, I was born in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that you have to say 450, as in she's hot 450, makes the point, and I agree 100%.
Look, I like my cougars, okay?
Makes sense that you're dating somebody who's 22. So.
24.
Oh, sorry, 24. Super cougar. Anyway, so but so I mean, I think that it has a fantastic cast. I think that they did a great job shooting it. It's cheesy and it has that feeling of like 90s TV, just like Fuller House did, trying to capture something. And I think they did it. So, for what it's worth, for the 5 episodes I've seen, I'm down and I'll watch the next 5.
Netflix is doing a great job.
And I think the bigger point is Netflix is doing a fucking great job. It's just everything I see out of there is just awesome. Flaked was fantastic. The Ranch is fantastic. Daredevil Season 2, knock it out the park. Have of Cards, I haven't seen all of it yet, but
I haven't seen one episode yet.
Also fantastic. Like everything that I stumble on. And by the way, have you just gone in there and looked at the list of suggestions for you?
My suggestions are horror movies that are really gory and just fucking stab people.
But
and shit.
In your ballpark, right? Do you watch any of them?
Mm-hmm.
When I get bored and I don't have anything to watch, I literally will just click on the first thing that's in my suggestions. That's how I find new awesome stuff. Because Netflix has an algorithm they're using to figure that out. But no matter what, Jessica Jones, although that was last year, Flash, also from Netflix. But when I just click on the first random thing in my suggested for you, every time I love it. No matter what it is, I love it because they got me. Well, and Flash says it's better than what's on TV now. I think it's important to keep in mind that in Netflix's mind, it is TV. That they are a competing TV channel now. They produce it the same way. Everything's the same except for how it's presented. Rather than having 30 shows come out at the same time and then do episodic, we have one show Tuesday at 8 p.m., every Tuesday at 8 p.m., and then we have a different show every Tuesday at 9 p.m., they just say, here's one show, it all comes out on Friday, and oh, by the way, 2 Fridays from now, we're going to give you a whole new show. So it's a different way that they present it to you, but they're a television network.
Netflix is starting to make it hard for us to binge stuff to
review. There's too much fucking stuff. There's too much stuff. And throw in the movies and everything else. By the way, have you seen Batman vs. Superman?
Nope.
Are you going to see it?
Nope.
Why not? You should absolutely see it.
Have you seen it?
Yes. I saw it the first week.
So tell me about it.
Do you want to get into that?
You know I don't mind spoilers.
I'll say we got 8 minutes, so let's dive into that. Mention a little bit of Batman vs. Superman. So a separate spoiler alert for this. If you haven't seen Batman vs. Superman, stop here, because I'm totally going to spoil it for you. Spoiler alert, they fight. Anyway, so don't let the critics get you down. Do you like Batman?
Some days.
Do you like Superman?
Some days.
You will enjoy this movie. Do you like a hot chick who is wearing very little clothes and beats the shit out of people?
Some days.
You'll love this movie. Gal Gadot is so beautiful. Sorry, Flash, to cut back. Do we know what's coming next to come out? Don't know what's next coming out on Netflix. It was a really good trailer. Yes, Batman vs. Superman had a good trailer. They ruined it for me. The second trailer ruined the movie for me. Because if you remember, the second trailer showed them teaming up against Doomsday. Don't do that.
Didn't see the second trailer.
Don't fucking do that. Show them battling everything until the movie. And then I know that maybe at the end of the movie they're still battling. I don't know, but fucking don't ruin it for me. So, they ruined it or whatever, but I still went. It's not Deadpool. It's not funny. There are no jokes. It is a 90s Batman movie. Original Burton Batman.
So here's my question: how did the fuck is his name?
Jesse Eisenberg played Lex Luthor.
Nope, talking about Batman.
Ben Affleck.
How did he do as Batman?
Best Batman since Keaton.
So he redeemed himself just like Ryan Reynolds did.
Yes.
After the Green.
100%. Now I will say I do enjoy Christian Bale as Batman, but I think it's a different character. Because Christian Bale's Batman was The Dark Knight, which is a whole different comic than what most of the rest of the Batman history is. Affleck is the older version of Batman. He's Bruce Wayne in his 50s. Take no shit. He shoots people with guns. The shit gets crazy. The shit gets crazy.
So would you like to see Kevin Smith say Batfleck? I think it was Batfleck. That's what Kevin.
I had my doubts. I went anyway. Flash says the entire movie was a trailer. Yeah, there was a feeling that like it was building to something that never happened. But what's that?
I know what it's building to.
Well, it's building to the Justice League movie, and I get another spoiler. There was a scene in there where they talk about Cyborg, they talk about the Flash, they talk about Wonder Woman, and somebody else.
And then Superman died at the end of the movie.
Well, yeah.
You already said spoiler, so it's okay to say.
So Clark Kent dies at the end of the movie.
But if you're a comic book reader, you know that's not the end.
Superman's in the box, but the last scene of the movie is them putting the boxes in the ground, right? And we know Clark Kent's in the box. And then the dirt on top of the box starts to gravitate above the box. So we know what that means too. Yeah. So he's coming back. But so Aquaman, sorry. So there was a scene there where we saw Cyborg, Aquaman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. And it would have been a great post-credit scene, but for some reason they stuck it in the middle. There's all this fucking bullshit. There was like a couple of dream sequences that made no goddamn sense. But overall, if you're looking for an action movie, a superhero action movie, it's got it. It's not Deadpool. It's not funny. It's not meant to be funny. Keaton's Batman wasn't funny.
I mean, they can't all be funny.
That's not the point. The Marvel movies have created this crazy expectation that things are action-packed and funny, but it's not. The Marvel comics are also very funny. DC comics are not. They're serious. It's just action.
But Disney, DC Comics up to this point
haven't done so well.
No.
Right.
And then after Deadpool, now they're reshooting a lot of major scenes of fucking
Suicide Squad. But here's the other thing I'll say about that though. They always do reshoots. It just so happened. Well, it just so happens that the reshoots happened after Deadpool. Now everyone's saying, "Oh, they're adding in all this stuff." Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe they're just reshooting some stuff because they were in editing. I don't know.
I mean, when I hear that all 5 of the fucking that there was only 5
that happens
in
every
Suicide Squad, and all 5 were in the trailer, and then Deadpool comes out and
it doesn't matter.
Amazing.
Superhero movies don't need to be funny. They don't need to be funny. It's not about being funny.
But Suicide Squad is meant to have that mentality about it.
Maybe. It depends where they are. No, it depends
I
where they are
got my
in the
knowledge
series.
on this one straight from a comic book nerd.
No, but here's what I'm saying is that if they're starting at the formation of Suicide Squad, which is what it looks like...
Even at the formation.
What's that?
Even at the formation.
There is some funny stuff. I mean, yeah, they could put in jokes. I don't believe that there were 5 jokes and they were all in the trailer. I think that's bullshit, too. But that later on, the comic migrates to something that's funnier. But at the beginning, it's very serious. So that is what DC does. They do serious comics. Sorry, Flash says if it was just Jesse Eisenberg, it would have been better. But then he's doing a Kill Bill to get out. I have no idea what that's in reference to, Flash. I'm sorry. Jesse Eisenberg was an interesting Lex Luthor. I have a feeling he watched Heath Ledger's Joker and then tried to do a version of that as Lex Luthor. So, swing and a miss, Jesse Eisenberg.
Doesn't work.
Swing and a miss.
2 completely different characters.
But he got the like superhero, they're like the supervillain genius guy thing. What would have really been the best thing to do if you wanted to play it that way was for them to show Lex Luthor, an older a guy who's about the same age as Batman, like that Affleck age. Although they show Affleck with a gray at the temples, he's playing older than he really is. And have that guy die.
I'm still waiting to see Batman Beyond.
That will never. They have the animated movies. They'll never do that in a live action.
They need a Batman Beyond.
Well,
they need an old ass Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Teaching somebody else to be Batman.
Well, this is the perfect setup for it. Actually, the Dark Knight trilogy was the place to do it because we saw Robin at the end picking up basically where Batman left off.
Well, Robin had nothing to do with.
No, Batman Beyond he didn't, but I mean, in the Batman Beyond universe, there's a Nightwing. Nightwing exists in that universe.
Nightwing exists in fucking Batman's universe because it's the original Robin.
The original
that goes off to another town.
Nonetheless, so
we are so fucking nerdy.
Here's the point: that if they had showed a Lex Luthor who was about the same age as Bruce Wayne, and then at the beginning of the movie he died, and then his kid was crazy and off the way that Jesse Eisenberg played it, great, I'm in with you. But for him to be the only Lex Luthor was a little bit much. Thank you, Flash. So Flash says, no it isn't, I have a huge collection of Suicide Squad comics, they aren't that funny. Harley, Dr. Harley Quinn, has some moments. Joker, of course, has some moments, but it's not Deadpool funny. And I agree 100%. DC is never that funny. It's not, Deadpool is Marvel. He's funny.
You know
it's meant to be funny.
You two don't have the screwed up sense of humor that me and Brandon have.
No, I have a screwed up sense of humor, but I know that DC is not made funny. They're meant to be serious.
I get that.
Keaton, if you look at the original 5 Batman movies, Keaton played Batman very serious.
What are you counting as the original 5?
Okay, so 89, 90, Keaton.
So you're skipping the Adam West?
Yeah, I'm talking about the original theatrical movies.
Okay.
Alright, so we have Keaton and Keaton, 89, 90.
Batman and Batman Returns.
Right. And then we had, who played him next? Val Kilmer? George Clooney. Right? Or is it Kilmer, Clooney? We had Two-Face and the Riddler. We had
Two-Face and Riddler were Batman Forever.
And then we had Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy.
Also with George Clooney.
And then there was Val Kilmer, Batman and Robin. Batman Forever, something else, and then Batman and Robin. But nonetheless, so those original 5. What we saw was they went from Keaton, which was very dark and not funny.
I thought it went right from Keaton to George Clooney.
I know, but what I'm saying is that like Keaton played him very dark and it wasn't very funny. Then they started throwing in jokes. The last one of that line is Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze, throwing in fucking ice puns everywhere. And it's not good. The ice puns are not good.
No.
So what we learned is that DC doesn't get written very well when they try to do comedy. Don't do comedy. Leave it the way it is. Batman vs. Superman is a good movie. Go see it. Don't believe the hype. Go see the fucking movie. It's good. Sorry, Flash says it's a different audience. If you want funny, dark, go for DC. Go to Vertigo Comics, which is a part of DC but for adults. This is made for teenage boys, not adults. Yes, but at one point we were teenage boys, and at one point I read the Batman comics and Superman comics, and now I'm an adult and I have money and I can go pay $13.50 for a fucking
It's okay, because apparently I ruined fucking Star Wars.
For who?
The Force Awakens for Brandon, the beginning and the end last night, so.
Oh, why would you do that?
I thought.
Although, Brandon,
I thought me and him already had that discussion, so I said something about, Han Solo being in like the first 5 to 10 minutes of it, and then dying. And then.
Spoiler alert for the fucking Star Wars. No, but also I think at this point, if you haven't seen Star Wars, like it's out on DVD now. Go get it.
Yeah, except Comcast ain't letting me rent it because I ain't paying $20 to watch it, because all I want to see is where Han Solo's at and where Luke Skywalker's at.
Go buy the DVD. It's less than $20.
No,
Go to Redbox.
I went to fucking Walmart. It's $20 for the Blu-ray.
Go to Redbox. Don't get the Blu-ray. You're gonna watch it for 2 fucking scenes. What do you need the Blu-ray for?
Same reason I paid $15 to watch.
Go to Redbox. Just go to Redbox.
Fuck is that movie? The Purge. The second
Anarchy?
one. Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Alright, anyway. Go to Redbox. Just watch those 2 scenes. Be
It's
done.
not in the Red Box.
Not yet. It will be there. So just save your money.
And the second it's in there, I can rent it for $4 out of here.
Ugh,
And not have to put my credit card in the fucking spot.
Are you worried about putting your credit card in the Redbox machine?
No, it just takes more work.
Because the Chinese are going to take your credit card information?
You've seen too many episodes of The Ranch.
Anyway. Thank you,
Full
Flash.
circle
Go
on
Redbox.
that. Full circle.
Alright,
High
so...
five on it.
So, anyway, so make sure you look out for new episodes of this podcast every Thursday at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. While you're there, click through the Amazon link. Help us out a little bit. Give us a little bit back for the podcast. Costs you nothing at all and helps us out, so it's a great way to help out. Make sure you go to @DirtyShoreUG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to stay up on the latest news. Obviously, you'll be able to check out FogDog videos and pictures from Kenny at Dirtyshore UG on Instagram and Twitter especially. Make sure that you go to youtube.com/c/DirtyShoreUG-OTA for the live stream. Always available there. Comment section. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the comments and who watched live. We appreciate it. A Flash, by the way, says it is in Redbox. Star Wars is in Redbox.
Not in ours.
Man, you need to look around a little more then. You can find me on all social networks.
I can walk to Royal Farms. I can walk to Walmart. I am not walking
Get
to
yourself a damn bike or something.
I got a bike, but I ain't riding at the Greensboro.
You can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com for all the updates on my information, links to all my stuff, including links to the books that are available on Amazon. The last edit is done on the sequel to The Movement. It will be going to the publisher this week. I'm fucking super stoked on that. And I've started editing The Calls. The last version of The Calls will be done inside of a month. I already knew it. So
you already knew it.
And you keep track. I got some additional stuff coming.
Am I going to see that before the end of the year?
Yes, before the end of the year. Probably by summertime it'll be out. So
you've been saying that. And then one time you
and I keep saying
I don't
the summer.
know.
Keep saying the summer. It's coming out by summer. So that's what we're working on. Summertime. So
if it's not out by July,
stepping on the end.
I don't care if I'm stepping on it. If it's not out by the end of July, I'm gonna make you retell the story.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'll retell the story. So make sure that you check out robertncheek.com for all the information. Join my mailing list so you, like Kenny, can continue to annoy me about getting out products. I got merchandise coming as well, so make sure you check that out. Speaking of merchandise, head on over to otheanthem.com. This podcast is a proud member of the Oh The Anthem digital network, so make sure you support Oh The Anthem and all of our product lines there. You can get brand new merchandise available on that website at otheanthem.com. And oh hey, while you're there, go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Oh The Anthem to support this podcast, that podcast, the whole network. It's a great way to help us out to make sure we can continue to produce this great content. We got new podcasts coming all the time. We have web series coming. We have books coming, music coming. Everything's coming. I'm finishing up my album, by the way. Working on some songs for the album.
I'm
writing the album. We'll talk about that next week. So, anyway, make sure you check out our bonus episode of the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead this Sunday. Coming up this Sunday, Fear the Walking Dead. 8 consecutive episodes of bonus episodes once again. So, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday.
Good night, everybody. See you Sunday. You already fucked me up. Did that shit on purpose. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.